Game number 3, Tsubaki versus Golld, round of 8. It is 1-1. It is 1-1. It is tied series, so whoever wins this game goes to the round of 4. So first ban going out to Tsubaki on Raise. Tsubaki does have counter pick, so even keeping that advantage going. Everybody knows what they want. Primus says it's balanced. The actual competitive players know if it's balanced or not, because we play this shit all day, every day. We know when we lose, and it's always on blue side. We lose on blue side. It's just the way it works. You can look at every tournament. We can even keep a tally this game. So Vollern coming in turn 1 onto Tsubaki. So let's see how Golld reacts to this. Alright, Kinu, and he's trying to decide what he wants to do with the Kinu. And we do have confirmation of what the next game is going to be that we're going to be casting. And Kanzaki 2-0'd Arkham Knight, and Platt, SNR Platt, 2-0'd Steam Maze. So we're going to be casting Kanzaki versus SNR Platt next game. Or in the next match. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Kanzaki, Platt, really good players. Platt is probably one of the best toxic comp players in Temtem currently. He has the most experience, and Kanzaki has always been great in the comp scene. Always playing, always you know, just adapting to what's new. Good player overall, definitely. So on Golld's side, he decides to pick Kinu into Cerny. So trying to make sure he has Kinu this game since Gaialis was the first ban. So he decides to pick Vollern Kinu. Tsubaki's definitely understanding that Vollern is the way to beat Golld here. As long as he can get the kill onto Riken before getting perfect jabbed, it looks really, really good for him. Vollern can deal with literally his entire team. He can deal with Kinu, he can deal with Cerny, he can deal with Mashuk, Whiplump, and Riken he does pretty well against. So getting the ban onto Skunch, making sure he gets no perfect jabs unless it's by Mashuk. Definitely a good choice in my opinion, especially since he can run Vollern and Tuvine if he needs to deal with the Mashuk. Trying to think about the ban. So game 1 and 2 were pretty much roughly the same exact things. Game 2, definitely different openers. We have Kinu on both sides now. We have Vollern Kinu and Kinu Cerny, so it's not the Skunch Gaialis openers like they were before. And he decides to ban Gaialis. So Tuvine and Saipat are going to be coming in. You always need that Crystal Tem when you're running 2 Crystal Tems. You normally don't want to run both, you only run one. Whatever one that activates your Toxic Plume, and it can tank whatever hits you may need, and sweeps the game, because Crystal attacks are pretty freaking good. So Riken, Mashuk on Golld side coming in, and let's see what he's going to pick. Vollern or Whiplump? What he wants to decide here. Vollern is the choice. So I wouldn't have minded Vollern or Whiplump. I think they have their strengths against this comp. I think Whiplump, when turboed, could have done really well, but it wouldn't be able to run Tsunami Freezes because there is no wind type on Golld side because he didn't pick Vollern and Whiplump. So here we go. Turn 1 coming in. Game 3, Tsubaki versus Golld. Tsubaki starting off with Volar and Kinu, and Golld starting off with Sernif Kinu. Kinu, probably the best Tem in the game overall. It's definitely the best support by far, only because Protector buff is just insane. Being able to get 50% more defenses due to having +1 is just absurd. Having Revitalize to keep all your Tems healthy for 25% more health, and allowing Hypnosis, which everybody has been very, very annoyed with since the beginning. Being able to Hypno with high speed, having Turbo to keep that speed advantage, to be able to get the Hypnos off first. And some people have been doing some sacrifice shenanigans with Flash, but currently that has been going away. So turn 1, see how things go. The one thing to think about is Sernif does have Shy Shield, which gets its defense pretty high. If there's any way that he can get -1 attack onto the anaerobic Volarin on Tsubaki's side, and be able to get some Shy Shields off, maybe +2 or even +3 defense, it's pretty strong, even though Noxious Bomb is ×2 towards it. Alright, Beta Burst, Noxious Bomb coming into play. Doubling into the Volarin, bringing it down to 67%, getting a +1 special defense proc. But now, here we go. So, Mashuk, Volarin, the iconic duo that everybody's been running lately. Mashuk is just overall great. It's definitely made its way up to pretty close to S tier. It's definitely just so close to being there. And yeah, we have Urushiel that can do pretty well on the Kinu slot here. Really no answers towards that. Urushiel Noxious Bomb will kill Kinu if he decides to do that as well. And it does well against Saipat. Tuvine could come in with a Toxic Plume Volarin, bringing their attacks down, which could be the play. To drop their attacks since they're so attack heavy. Alright, let's see how the turn goes. Golld switches out Volarin into Riken. Turbo coming off, getting the speed onto Riken. Feels like Riken is going to be his win conditions towards the late game, so he's going to try his hardest to make sure it does what it can. Feather Gatling coming through, Sweatband proccing, Volarin Sweatband, it's pretty good. Here we go. So we got the speed advantage towards Tsubaki's side with the Volarin. Kinu getting +2. Hypnosis is going to be annoying, that's for sure. And yeah, he didn't use the Toxic Plume play, which means he can save it. And now that he's faster, no matter what, he can automatically get the -1 attack onto both slots of Golld, making sure that no damage can come through on whatever turn he decides to do it on. It could be this turn. Kinu being switched out into Tuvine with the speed advantage. Volarin is most likely going to be using that Toxic Plume. Golld definitely knows that. Takes out Riken, brings in Volarin. Volarin takes the Toxic Plume, -1 attack on both sides. And right now it is looking pretty good for Tsubaki. Gets the Urushiel off onto Tuvine. That is definitely the better play than Uppercut, only because Urushiel is going to be able to tick damage, while Uppercut with -1 attack isn't going to be doing much. Tuvine is the unspoken counter to Volarin, since Volarin can only do toxic damage and wind damage, which Tuvine tanks both of them. But Tuvine has Crystal Plume Gatling and Feather Gatling, which Volarin does not tank very well at all. So definitely really strong. Having Determined onto Tuvine as well helps in this situation too, because you can't perfect jab it down to -1 and Uppercut. So Tuvine definitely an overall counterplay to Volarin, to Mashuk, and most toxic teams as well. So Golld has to really think about how he's going to get out of this spot. The setup for Tsubaki is definitely better than Golld currently. There are the +1/+1 on the Sernif, but Sernif isn't going to be able to kill Volarin. So the biggest problem is, how do we kill the Volarin? That's what Golld has to really think about. How do we kill the Volarin? And I think that answer is going to have to be Riken. But with the +1 defense buff and most likely another +1 buff coming in later, it's going to be really difficult to do that. He only has Mashuk for perfect jabs. So yeah, it's looking pretty strong for Tsubaki. Feather Gatling coming in, bringing it down to 34%. Perfect jab going on to Volarin. So exactly like what I was saying, he knows that Volarin is the issue. We need to bring down the Volarin, but it's gonna be really rough. Crystal Plume bringing down Volarin with a Crystal Plume Gatling, and Riken coming in, a quick click onto Riken, and he does know it. So again, Toxic Plume is available. There is nothing that can put him to sleep. So -1 attack onto Riken and -2 attack onto Mashuk if he decides to do a Toxic Plume play with either Feather Gatling onto Riken, whatever it may be, and that could be the nail in the coffin. -1 attack is just so strong. 33% less damage for just one minus attack proc. So if you're supposed to do 100 damage, only 66 is crazy. And yeah, debuffs, +1s and -1s are definitely crazy when it comes to scaling. And it's kind of cool that there's no special attack debuff, which is why a lot of people run special attackers. And the reason why a lot of people don't run attackers is literally because of Volarin's Toxic Plume. It's 16 stamina when you actually proc the synergy, and it hits both Tems, causing poison for 12.5%. Plus, it's -1 attack on both Tems, which means 33% less damage from attacks on both Tems. It's just, yeah, it's just so much in one attack and 16 stamina. Yeah, it's pretty insane. Honestly, I think Toxic Plume would still be good even if it was 24 stamina with synergy, just like it normally is, instead of the 6. But that's what makes Volarin so good. It's got everything. Uppercut coming in, 70 to 45. Feather Gatling onto Riken. Meteor Swarm coming in. So he decides to tank it with the Psypat instead of -1 attacking. 2 Vine dying here, and which means Riken will not get. Pretty sure it's Prideful, right? I didn't see a Motivator proc, so we're gonna see in a second. If it was Prideful and it did not get that tick, that is rough. Not getting that tick for +1 speed, attack, and special attack. Yeah, not having +2 speed to be able to deal with the Volarin. Blah. So yeah, it is Prideful. It did not proc. Motivator did not go off. So definitely looking strong here. So what's most likely happening here is Skunch is faster than Psypat, if I remember correctly. So Perfect Jab into Toxic Ink on the Riken's side is going to be pretty strong, since he can only switch into either Kinu, or he can switch in to Cerny, which both of them take a lot of damage from Toxic. And he decides to let the Kinu take the damage, but before it takes the damage, it's going to buff up the Cerny. Perfect Jab going on to Kinu slot. Toxic Ink. One-shotting that Kinu. That is definitely an HP speed Kinu. No more defense being procced. I know I was one of those people playing HP defense Kinu, having just enough speed to get that sacrifice off onto Vlash, but not here anymore. People know that they need the speed in this current meta with Hypnosis. So Riken coming back in, settling being procced on the Golld. I don't see an answer. Looking rough. Nichosai is going to... I think it goes before Riken because Psypat has speed while Riken I don't believe does. Riken's speed is pretty low and Psypat's speed is pretty good. So It should go off before Embers with Nitrosai, and with that being said, Ninja will also go first. And this should be the kill for Riken. Ninja coming in. Water cutting Lily. Going into Psypad, dealing a lot of damage. Ember's coming in. And it just barely lives due to the tick. Kaido coming in, killing the Riken, and Psypat is still gonna live. That is rough. Mashuk comes in. Let's see how this Mashuk plays out. See what the Mashuk can do. See what the Mashuk can do. So Water Cutting Lily. So Skunch has Ninja. And Valoran is not going to be able to take much damage. So as soon as Valoran comes in, he can literally let Psypat die, let Kinu die, whatever happens, and Valoran will be able to tank all of Mashuk and Cerny and be able to get the kills by itself. It can literally 1v2 right now. Rush will come in. Wait, is that a fast? That's got to be a fast Mashuk. Wait, what? Lowering the defense onto Cerny. Fawn Whip coming in on the Skunch. Oh yeah, Mashuk did turbo into Riken, so my brain got foggled for a second. Got mind boggled. Yeah, so it's looking like Perfect Jab already went off on a Cerny, only has +1 defense right now. And Kinu coming in, buffing to make sure its defense is high so it can't be uppercutted to death. And Revitalize will be able to proc as well before Kinu is going to be able to die. So 90 to 58% is pretty strong. Perfect Jab comes through, 73 to 65. And Revitalize, trying to keep his Cerny alive. 58 to 84. Settling is what he's going to try to do. He's trying to have Settling carry him throughout this game. Get enough procs for the 6% extra damage in order to have Water Cutting Lily or Fawn Whip do a lot of damage. I believe it also has another attack that can hit Valoran for equal, if I remember correctly. I'm not too fond of Cerny. I don't really know what it runs. I haven't played much of Cerny at all, so yeah, double kick. Double kick, if it's running double kick, that would definitely be good in this situation. Only because Water Cutting Lily can't do enough damage. Gnosis coming through. Onto the Cerny. Feather Gatling going from a Shook. 95 to 67. Parry being active, as always, because Parry is pretty good with Coat. Perfect Jab. Overexerting the Mashuk, so this is going to be a free turn setup for Tsubaki, even though he's already set up, but he is going to be able to Revitalize. And then Beta Burst. Feather Gatling most likely next turn to get the Mashuk kill. Feather Gatling. Yeah, he's going to need a double into Mashuk to get the kill. And then it's going to be the solo Cerny to try to carry the 1v3. And with Valoran being present, I do not see it happen. Here we go. Beta Burst coming in from Mashuk. Beta should kill this, yeah. There it is. Beta kills. Noxious Bomb coming in. Bringing it down to 52, and Fond Whip, 80. That did a lot of damage. That did a lot of damage for a -1. Wow, I actually didn't think it would do that much. Yeah, there was definitely a chance that it could have won, but it's not currently in this situation. It's going to be a GG's. Revitalize. Rest. 25% revitalize is going to be coming through, keeping it alive. GG. GG's. Noxious Bomb coming in. 21. Special attacks going down, man. Oh, man. Come on. He's gonna try to Fauna Whip one-shot everything. He's gonna try to Fauna Whip one-shot everything. Vitalize coming out. Noxious Bomb. And it should be one more Noxious Bomb before it dies. Fauna Whip 92. Down to 47. Sweatband procking and Beta Burst finishing off the Sternif, I'm pretty sure. Maybe. No way! Keeping it at 2.5. Noxious Bomb going in, and this is the end of the game. Tsubaki taking the first series in the round of 8. 2-1 against Golld. Advancing. GG.